Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Things are going to get worse before they get better. Not because of one event, not because of one war, but because of how the system is built. Modern economies are built on efficiency. Everything is optimized, lean, just in time. Hardly anyone keeps a buffer of inventory. There's no slack, no buffer, and that works right up until it doesn't. Because when you remove slack, you don't remove risk. You just delay it. Now layer in what's happening globally. Geopolitics is heating up. There's a war in Europe. There's a war in the Middle East. There are civil wars in Africa. Border tensions across Asia. This leads to energy volatility as many countries rely on others for power. Supply chains are tightening because minerals are not coming out of the ground fast enough. Individually, these are manageable. But here's the truth most people miss. Systems don't fail one problem at a time. They fail when problems stack. America won't continue being the world's police. There is no international law. The core tenet of game theory is that bad actors must be met with force. We've seen this movie before. Before World War II, global trade started breaking down. Countries stopped cooperating. They started protecting and they started hoarding. Does that sound familiar? America has been throwing tariffs on allies and enemies alike, insisting on bringing production of goods back into the States. This reduces trade and negatively impacts trade alliances. Now, alliances don't always have to be between countries that love each other, but trade does keep them out of lobbing bombs at each other. Fast forward to what is likely to happen in 2026. More export bans, increased supply chain nationalism, countries reshoring critical industries, especially in energy, food, and protecting what they can so that others can't have it. This isn't a theory, it's already happening. We're going to see countries trading in commodities instead of cash. That means swapping milk and beef for petrol and minerals. Now think about energy. If petrol prices hit $10 a litre, that's not just a fuel problem, that's an everything problem. Transport goes up, inputs go up, margins get crushed, and people simply stop spending because they can't afford to, or they throw their hands up in defeat. And here's where it compounds. We build a system with a single point of failure, one supplier from one region through one bottleneck. So when something breaks, it doesn't stay local. It spreads. Global trade made the world more collaborative and connected, but ironically, it made us weaker to shocks as the dominoes fell over. Then the real economy starts feeling it. Food production under pressure. We have to start asking hard questions about whether to export or stockpile. Exports will get restricted. Countries will be prioritizing themselves, and this is the natural conclusion and expectation. And slowly, globalization starts to unwind. Alliances will be tested. New Zealand is not in a strong or an important position globally. We will be excluded from wartime trade deals. What happens when China insists, under threat of war, that all fuel be directed to them instead of other countries? We lose bargaining power. Now here's the part most people ignore. Money reacts. Capital moves fast or it freezes. And when that happens, confidence goes. And when confidence goes, everything gets harder. There's a glut of cash trying to find returns at the moment, but as energy stability collapses, so will the dream that AI can fix everything, because we won't be able to power it. So what do people trust when systems get shaky? Not spreadsheets, not forecasts. They trust what's real, energy, hence the flight into renewables like solar, and the demand locally for more wind and hydro. Food, hence the demand for locally supported supply chains, local meats and produce. Local businesses, hence the focus domestically, internal trade rather than relying on outside parties. Now is the time to build New Zealand into a powerhouse of infrastructure by selling lagging assets like Kāinga Ora. Local businesses need us to stay confident and spend, knowing that these businesses will repay the favor and spend too. Let me simplify this. You cannot control geopolitics. You cannot control global supply chains, and you cannot control interest rates. but you can control what you build locally. And this is where most people get it wrong. They wait. They hope things stabilize. They sit on the sidelines. But if you look at history, and I mean really study it, the people who win in uncertain environments don't wait for clarity. They position early. Because when the system gets harder, good businesses become more valuable, not less, especially the local ones, especially essential ones, especially ones with pricing power and real demand. So yes, things are likely to get worse before they get better. Costs will go up, volatility increases, the system fragments. But that doesn't mean you lose. It means the game changes. And if you understand that, you stop thinking like a passive investor and start thinking like an owner. That's the shift from watching the system to operating inside it. And that's exactly why I built the Business Apprentice. Because instead of trying to predict macro chaos, we focus on something far more powerful: controllable investments. Local businesses, real cash flow, real leverage. And if you want to understand how to actually do that, not theory, not the headlines, I break it down step by step in the workshop. Go to businessapprentice.co.nz/workshop because the truth is simple. You don't need to control the world. You just need to control your position in it. And in the next phase of this cycle, that's going to matter more than ever.